What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Lions video. Now, the NFL draft was completed a few days ago. The Detroit Lions, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, completed their first draft class as the general manager and head coach, respectively. Yesterday, we did a video recapping the entirety of the NFL draft, the entirety of the Detroit Lions 2021 class. However, we did not go into significant detail. We did not really go into a deep dive on each and every player, and that is what we are going to be doing today and throughout the next week or so. Of course, today we are going to be starting with the Detroit Lions first round selection, the guy that they took at the 7th overall spot in the NFL draft, in Oregon offensive tackle Penei Sewell. Now, before we get into going into a deep dive on the Oregon product and the Detroit Lions first round selection from this year's class, if you're new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, please consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes just 2 seconds out of you to do so. It's quick, free, and easy, and you would be helping the channel out more than you could possibly know. So if you can do that, take those 2 seconds to like and subscribe. I'd be greatly appreciative for it. But with all that being said, and without any further ado, let's get into going into a deep dive on the Detroit Lions first round selected and Brad Holmes' first draft choice as the general manager, in offensive tackle and Oregon product Penei Sewell. Now, as I said, with the first selection, with the 7th overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft, the Detroit Lions stayed put. They were very, very patient and got incredibly lucky as Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle product out of Oregon, fell to them with the 7th overall pick, and they ended up selecting him. Now, Penei Sewell does actually stand at 6'4" and 7/8 inches. He stands at 331 pounds, has an 80 and 7/8 inch wingspan, as well as having 33 and 1/4 inch arms. So, I mean, he's got really, really good size for a tackle. His arms are a little bit shorter. A lot of teams like to see those offensive tackles have 34 plus inch arms. However, of course, being 33 and 1/4 inch is far from a deal breaker for the phenomenal Oregon product. Now, Penei Sewell had an RAS score of 8.99 when he was tested. That is technically making him and putting him in the category of being an elite athlete. He put up 30 reps on the bench press, had a 5.09 unofficial 40 time, had a 28-inch vertical, had a 109-inch broad jump, while having a 7.83 cone drill time. Penei Sewell is a rare athlete at the offensive tackle position. You are not going to find very many other tackles with his skill set, with his athleticism, to couple with his technique and his technical refinement. I mean, Penei Sewell, to me, was the 3rd best player in the class. He was the 3rd player on the Detroit Lions big board and was really the number 1 player that was realistic for the Detroit Lions to get. The only other two being Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson, who of course went number 1 and number 2 respectively. Now, Penei Sewell, I believe, was the best pick for the Detroit Lions. In his freshman season as an Oregon Duck, he played in 7 games, had 215 pass blocking snaps, only allowed 1 sack and 1 quarterback hit. Now, after his freshman season, he was awarded and was named into the coach's Pac-12 All-Conference honorable mention list, as well as being named and awarded the 24/7 Sports Freshman All-American Award. It only got better from Penei Sewell after his true freshman season, as he came into his sophomore season looking like the top 10 pick that he would one day become. In his sophomore season with the Oregon Ducks, he played in 14 games, played in 491 pass blocking snaps, allowed 0 sacks, and just 2 quarterback hurries on the entire season. Of course, with that being the case, he achieved and was awarded a lot of significant trophies, including the Outland Trophy, which is awarded to the nation's top offensive lineman, the Morris Trophy. He was named the Pac-12 Co-Offensive Player of the Year. He was a unanimous All-American, a first-team Pac-12 player, and actually accumulated 28 different unique awards throughout his 2 years of college football. Now, he was also a 4-time Pac-12 Offensive Offensive Lineman of the Week. He was a 6-time Pro Football Focus National Team Player of the Week. It was a 9-time Pac-12 Team of the Week attendee. He's the highest graded offensive lineman in Pro Football Focus history. He really has no weaknesses, and there are really very few flaws that you can look at in Penei Sewell's game. We talked about his athleticism already. As I said earlier, put up 30 reps on the bench, so he is really strong. You know, he had a 5.09 40 time, which is really impressive for a guy standing at 6'4", almost 6'5", 331 pounds. That is not easy to do for a man, for a person, and an athlete of his size. Running almost in the 4.9 range, running almost somewhere in the 4 range for a 40-yard dash is not an easy thing to accomplish of somebody for his size and his weight. He had a 28-inch vertical, which isn't phenomenal. It isn't great, but you're not drafting an offensive tackle to be able to jump high. And he did have a 109-inch broad, which again isn't some elite score, but was more than capable but he's more than capable of doing everything you're going to need him to do athletically. He's more than explosive enough to get off the line. He is more than powerful enough to push guys off the ball. And with that 7.83 cone drill, that is really solid agility. Again, for a guy at 6'5", almost weighing over 330 pounds. Now, to go with that rare athleticism, Penei Sewell is very clean. He's very technically refined. I mean, you're not going to find very many flaws in his game. You're not going to find too many reps where he lost. You're not going to find too many reps in his tape where he significantly lost a battle, where he had poor hand placement or poor footwork. By far, he was the best offensive lineman in the class. By far, he should not have been there with the 7th overall selection. He was at the worst, or should have been at the worst, a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. This was the Detroit Lions' #1 guy on their actual big board. The Detroit Lions organization wanted Penei Sewell more than anybody else in the draft class. They almost traded up twice to get him. They almost traded up to the 5th overall selection when he did fall there to Cincinnati. They were asking for a little bit too much, so the Detroit Lions decided to sit one more spot. They decided to sit and wait and cross their fingers, and by the skin of their teeth, by the thinnest margin, and for some unexplainable reason, the Cincinnati Bengals decided to reunite Ja'Marr Chase with his college quarterback, which allowed Penei Sewell to fall to the 6th overall spot. And again, the Lions called Miami. They were considering trading up. They had heard rumors that maybe Carolina was potentially looking to take that top, or was potentially looking to trade up to that 6th overall spot. However, I think Brad Holmes played this draft very well. They decided to stay put. They decided to stay at the 7th overall spot. The Miami Dolphins selected a wide receiver. They ended up staying at 6 because they actually believed that Detroit was going to take a wide receiver if Penei Sewell was gone. Miami ended up staying with the number 6 overall selection. They selected Jalen Waddle, allowing Brad Holmes and allowing the Detroit Lions to get their #1 player on the board, selecting Penei Sewell far outside of the range that he should have been selected in. Penei Sewell was my favorite player in this draft for the Detroit Lions. He was my #1 player that I was crossing my fingers the Lions could get. When the Bengals passed on him, I felt really good, and when the Miami Dolphins passed on him, I knew for a fact Penei Sewell was going to be a Detroit Lion. Now, Penei Sewell couples his amazing athleticism, his clean technique, his very refined technique, and his very few weaknesses to be a top offensive player for the Detroit Lions, and to be one of the top offensive players in a very stacked and very loaded offensive draft class. As I said, the #1 target for the Detroit Lions, the #1 player on their big board, and the guy that they eventually ended up getting in the Oregon product. Now, with that being said, that is all I have on Penei Sewell. That is our little bit of a breakdown. Again, I wanted to go over it. I wanted to go over his stats. I wanted to go over his awards, his history, some of the things that he accomplished in his short time in his collegiate career, why he was such a big impact player, why he was such a phenomenal draft pick for the Detroit Lions, and what to expect from him in the near future, what to expect from him his rookie season. I mean, when you look at Penei Sewell, as I said multiple times, he couples elite athleticism for a guy of his size and weight with absolutely clean, absolutely refined technique. Only allowed 1 sack and I believe over 1,300 snaps as an Oregon Duck. I mean, he was a phenomenal player, a phenomenal prospect, and you can't even use the excuse that he didn't go up against competition, because in his sophomore season, in his second season as a Duck, he went up against Kayvon Thibodeaux every single day at practice. So with that being the case, he's battle tested, he's proven, He is clean, he is athletic, and he even practiced as a right tackle. The only argument you could make against Penei Sewell is that he's only ever played the left tackle position in games, but he said in the offseason he was working at right tackle. He was more than willing to move there, and the Lions are expected to move him to the right tackle position to anchor the right side of that offensive line. Not to mention, Penei Sewell reportedly grew up as a Detroit Lions fan. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. It doesn't get more storybook-esque than that. The Detroit Lions fan comes home. The best player in the draft arguably comes home to his hometown team, to the team that he grew up watching and supporting. It was a phenomenal draft pick by the Detroit Lions. It was a phenomenal player for the Detroit Lions to draft. And I mean, at the end of the day, it was an A-plus pick. It was a home run. Brad Holmes smashed it out of the park. Penei Sewell should be a cornerstone player for 10 to 15 years for the Detroit Lions. They have to re-sign him. He's going to be a great player. At the end of the day, this was an A-plus pick by the Detroit Lions, and there was no better way for them to start the draft. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Let me know, what do you think about Penei Sewell? What did you think about the draft selection? What did you think about Brad Holmes' first pick as a Detroit Lions general manager? Do you like the pick? Do you not like the pick? If you don't like Penei Sewell, who would you have taken over him? And if you do like Penei Sewell, let me know what you think about him, and of course the rest of the draft class down in the comments below. But with all that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time, and as always, go Lions!